In this episode, we follow Auditor Autistic Audits as a simple plan to film outside the BBC from a public space suddenly spirals out of control. What should have been a calm, lawful recording quickly shifts when two officers rush in, speaking unpredictably and insisting, based only on a vague morning briefing, that he resembles someone they are supposedly searching for. Without conducting any real checks or establishing a proper legal basis, they press him for personal details, and when he confidently asserts his rights, they escalate the situation by arresting him. A routine audit turns into a concerning display of police overreach, yet the story ultimately pivots toward justice as Autistic Audits teams up with Hank solicitors, takes the matter to court, and secures a clear legal victory, underscoring the importance of accountability and knowing the law.
How are you doing? You alright?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
What are you up to?
Can I ask you why you're engaged in it?
Stop there a minute.
Why?
I'm just trying to identify who you are because you've got your face covered and you've... What's your name, please, sir?
I don't have to give you my name.
Okay, well, at this moment in time, we believe that you might well be wanted. Okay. Well, we'll cross that bridge in a minute once we've confirmed it. So that's why we need to identify who you are. It's all right. We'll do it another way. Just bear with us a second.
You start with your first name, please, sir.
Don't believe I have to provide your name.
Okay. Well, I believe that you're wanted, right? Okay. Just by your description alone, right? So I believe that you're wanted off a briefing that I've received today, right? So we can do it one or two ways.
Wanted for what?
Well, wanted for an offence.
What offence?
Well, wanted for an offence of harassment, actually. So I need to check you out in order to see A, if it is you, or B, if it isn't you, right? And if it isn't you, I'll bid you good day and off you go.
From the very first moment, the officer's approach collapses under its own weakness, leaning on a vague morning briefing to insist the auditor somehow resembles a wanted individual without presenting a single solid fact. Instead of outlining a description, identifying an alleged offense, or offering any meaningful context, he jumps straight to demanding personal information, relying on pressure rather than evidence. It isn't genuine policing, it's an authority figure casting a wide net and hoping something sticks. When the auditor correctly refuses to hand over his name, the officer escalates with the telling line, "If it's not you, I'll let you go," exposing a mindset where your freedom hinges on cooperating with an unsubstantiated guess. But that's not how rights work in the UK. Officers must operate on clear, articulable grounds, not instincts, not impressions, and certainly not the convenience of a generic briefing. This moment highlights a fundamental misunderstanding of lawful procedure and shows how quickly a lack of proper justification can turn routine encounters into abuses of power.
So if we start with your first name, or are we going to have to get a fingerprint scanner down here and find out who you are, or take you down to custody to try and identify you because you refuse to give me details?
I haven't committed an offence.
Okay, so if you haven't committed any offences, can I start with your first name, please, sir?
I don't need to give you my first name.
Okay, well, I believe you to be Christopher Green, and I'm detaining you currently.
I am not Christopher Green.
Right, okay, well, that's fine, but you're currently being detained up until the point that I can establish who you are. You're refusing to give me some details, so I need to establish who you are.
Can I please ask you to identify yourself?
Yeah, I'm PC 17768 Neil Williams.
And you, please?
Sergeant 15563.
Thank you.
Right,
which
okay,
station?
So can we make
Western
it nice and easy for us and start giving just your first name, please?
Can I ask you which station you're from?
Yeah, I work at Withenshaw Police Station, work part of the X Department and part of the Transport Unit for Great Manchester Police.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
So we're going to start with your name then, please. And if there's nothing wrong, then we'll send you on your way.
When the officer abruptly announces, "I believe you to be Christopher Green," despite the auditor calmly stating otherwise, the real issue becomes unmistakably clear. This moment isn't about locating a genuinely wanted individual, it's about asserting control the moment the officer feels his authority is being questioned. The auditor hadn't acted suspiciously, hadn't avoided engagement, and hadn't posed any form of threat. He simply exercised his right not to provide his name without a lawful basis, which is entirely legitimate and never a justification for suspicion. What makes the exchange even more troubling is the officer openly broadcasting the full name of the person he claims to be seeking. Under UK GDPR and the Data Protection Act 2018, police are required to handle personal information responsibly, and publicly naming someone as a potential suspect without confirmation is not only careless but potentially defamatory. It exposes both the auditor and the individual named, if they even exist, to unnecessary reputational harm, all while doing nothing to establish lawful grounds for the stop. This single statement highlights a deeper pattern of poor practice and disregard for proper data handling.
It's not Christopher Green.
Okay.
100 Alpha.
And what is your name, please? And have you got anything to identify yourself?
I don't believe I have to answer these questions.
Right. You don't believe that you have to, right, okay. Well, I believe you to be wanted, right? So make it easy for us. Give us your details, identify yourself, show me some identification.
I don't believe I have to identify myself.
Well, you do.
We could arrest you, take you to custody and put you on a live scan machine. There's a necessity, if you're not giving your name and address, for us to verify who you are if we believe you to be wanted from the information we've got. So you can
I don't have to do that. You've not provided me with any grounds for an arrest.
Right, take your hands out your pocket so I can see them. I need to identify you. I'm trying to make it easy for you here, sir. So what I want,
I'm not in
what I want
any
is,
threat to you.
No,
guys.
not at all.
No, I'm not.
You had your hands in your pockets, and I don't know who you are.
Even after detaining someone in full view of the public, the officer still hasn't offered a single concrete justification. No stated offense, no genuine evidence, only a flimsy assertion that the auditor vaguely matches an unspecified description. When the auditor reasonably asks for the legal grounds behind the detention, the officer instantly pivots, suddenly fixating on the fact that the auditor has his hands in his pockets. It's an obvious attempt to dodge the core question. Instead of explaining what crime he supposedly suspects, the officer creates a new concern out of thin air, as if a relaxed posture is now grounds for holding someone. This kind of deflection reveals just how unstable his position is. Even more telling is the officer's own admission, once again, that he doesn't know who the auditor is. And that's the heart of the problem. He isn't detaining someone because of criminal behavior, he's detaining someone simply because he can't identify them, turning a lack of recognition into a justification for restraint.
Up until the point that you identify yourself, make it easy for us, and if it isn't you, and I can establish who you are, and I can clearly identify you, then I'll send you on your way, right? Okay. But by you being obstructive at the moment...
I'm not being obstructive.
Well, you are, because you're refusing to provide some details.
No, because I don't believe lawfully that I have to give you those details because I haven't committed any offence of harassment. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay. Well, I believe you to be wanted, so okay. I want you to. I need you to identify yourself in order for me to make those inquiries. And once I make those inquiries and find out that you are either wanted or you're free to go, I will then send you on your way. Okay. Oh, no. Don't. No. Excuse me. I'm speaking.
You've asked me whether I'm Christopher Green, and I've said I'm not Christopher Green.
Right. And all I'll say to you is, right. Identify yourself, because
stop giving me orders.
I'm the police here.
Speak to me respectfully.
I have done. I've tried.
Speak to me respectfully.
What I'll say to you is, you're not going anywhere up until the point that I can clearly identify you. Okay.
Right, but please continue to speak to me respectfully. Okay.
So what's your name, please?
To speak to you always respectfully.
Your name, please.
Throughout the exchange, the auditor remains calm, direct, and completely within his rights, simply stating that he has committed no offense and is under no obligation to provide identification without a lawful basis. Instead of responding with professionalism, the officer snaps, shouting, "No, I'm the police here," as though raising his voice somehow transforms a flawed stop into a lawful one. That outburst isn't just inappropriate, it's telling. It exposes an officer who isn't grounded in the legal framework he's supposed to uphold and who's reacting emotionally rather than procedurally. When someone in authority feels their position slipping, they often turn to volume and aggression to reassert control, and that's exactly what happens here. The officer's raised voice and confrontational stance aren't about clarifying the law or resolving the situation. They're intimidation tactics meant to pressure the auditor into compliance despite the absence of any legitimate grounds.
I'm not giving you my name.
Right, have you got any ID on you?
I'm not. I don't have to do this.
The problem is, we suspect you of an offence.
Why do you believe that you don't have to do this?
Because I don't believe I've committed a criminal offence.
Right, okay. Well, then make it easy for me, sir, right?
I don't have to make anything easy for you.
Yeah, you do, unfortunately.
No, I don't.
Why are you being so obstructive? If you're not committed any offence, we can check your details. Then
I don't have to discuss anything with you.
Why are you trying to avoid it?
I'm not trying to avoid anything.
Because it's going to be a long process for you if we have to take you to custody and put you on one of them live scan machines to find out who you are.
Well,
so it sounds straightforward. If you just give us your details, we can check if you want or not. If you're not, absolutely fine, which is what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not Christopher Green, and I'm saying I've not committed offensive harassment.
Who are you then?
I've just told you I don't believe that I have to give you that information.
The auditor isn't being evasive at all, he's simply and calmly asserting his right not to hand over personal details without a lawful foundation, which is exactly what any citizen is entitled to do. That isn't obstruction, it's the very principle police are meant to protect. But instead of acknowledging that, the officer shifts to intimidation, warning that refusing to comply will lead to a drawn-out trip to custody and a long processing ordeal. That threat has nothing to do with justice and everything to do with punishing someone for standing firm on their rights. His remark about the live scan machine gives the whole game away. The focus isn't on legality, it's on inconvenience as leverage. When an officer defaults to coercion simply because a member of the public understands the law, it highlights a disturbing gap in training and a mindset shaped more by control than by accountability. And in that moment, the officer inadvertently proves the auditor's point. The real issue isn't the public knowing their rights, but the police failing to respect them.
And if I do, then I can give it to your desk sergeant, or I can give it to a judge.
Please, so I can see exactly who you are.
No.
Right, I'm going to let go of your arm now, yeah? Okay. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to be putting your hands in your pockets.
Promise you I won't do that.
Okay, because I need to be satisfied that you've not got something that can harm me or anyone else.
I promise you there's nothing in my pockets that could harm you.
It is, isn't it? Boss.
Do you want to go and have a look at that picture upstairs?
So guys, it looks like I'm going to be arrested here. Can I just turn this off?
Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of harassment.
According to the evidence, unlawfully arrested. I've now passed the case on to HNK, and they are currently considering all of the information before they either accept or reject the case, and I'll let you know what happens there, guys.
This arrest stands out as the most serious failure in a long chain of poor decisions. After repeatedly avoiding any clear legal justification and continuing to pressure the auditor for personal details, the officer ultimately chose to arrest him, despite there being no crime, no credible suspicion, and no lawful basis to do so. It was a straightforward misuse of authority, but accountability eventually caught up. The auditor later confirmed that HNK solicitors took on the case, and just recently, he publicly announced that he won his claim. That victory isn't just a personal milestone, it's a clear message that unlawful policing has real consequences. What unfolded here was a troubling display of an encounter spiraling far beyond reason. Autistic Audits was calmly filming outside the BBC, fully within his rights, when two officers arrived and immediately escalated the situation, leaning on a vague morning briefing and insisting he fit an unspecified description. The lead officer quickly demanded his name, and when the auditor lawfully refused, everything deteriorated. Instead of presenting genuine grounds, the officer abruptly insisted the auditor was someone named Christopher Green, even stating that full name allowed, an unnecessary and improper breach of privacy, especially without any verified link. This case serves as a reminder of why knowing your rights matters and why oversight is essential in policing. If you found this breakdown helpful, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more.